Whoa, chill, bird. Chill, bird. What was that? What are these creatures? What are these noises I'm hearing? Testing? Okay, we are live. Welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. This is another modern day Chautauqua. Literally just got off work again. So I will be having some more grogs. I got way too sloppy on the last Chautauqua. I got way too sloppy because I got way too excited that that I wrote somebody's name down and said, "Hey, we should play Sea of Thieves together in real life." And then we actually met up in Sea of Thieves and started playing. So that I was super excited. He was distracting, but that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I said like way too much, so I kind of am recovering. I need to recover because of how sloppy that last one was. Got way too sloppy. But so earlier today, I was at work and I saw this awesome news article, and I really wanted to read it to you guys because it was a very epic, amazing news article. But before we get into the news article, I just want to say I do have some gripes because there are there are content creators on the One Great Work Network. This is a website supposedly based off of freedom and morality and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, living under natural law, living under the blanket of natural law, you know, which is morality or God's law or karmic law. I've talked about it so much on this channel, but there's one content creator that particularly that I used to live with who always says, you know, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, live under natural law. But then this same individual who preaches freedom and doing the right thing is also the same individual that had his girlfriend steal food from Walmart. Also the same individual that while he had his girlfriend steal food from Walmart, his grandmommy, so he's kind of a trust fund baby, call him out. So he's kind of a trust fund baby. So his grandmother pays for his cell phone bill. So he's in a position where he doesn't even have to like go to work. I mean, now he's in a position where he has to go to work, right? But his grandmother pays for his cell phone bill, and yet this individual who preaches morality and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do encouraged his girlfriend to go steal food from Walmart. So be that as it may, and I've heard a lot of complaints. This isn't the only complaint from a content creator, or this isn't the only complaint about a content creator on the One Great Work Network that I've heard. So I used to, long story short, I used to strive. I took Mark Passio's class, How to Become the True Media Seminar. I took his class, the Shadow Work Seminar, which we'll get into that later. We're going to be talking about the Shadow Work Seminar. And, you know, so I really love Mark Passio. I've never met Mark Passio or, you know, hung out with him. I've never, like, been into his house. I've never lived with him. Like, I lived with this content creator. Like, we used to be roommates, this content creator that I'm kind of calling out. So it's like, these are supposed to be our quote-unquote leaders. You know what I mean? This guy, Mark Passio, is having immoral people on the One Great Work Network, and you know it's important to call it out, right? Because when people are promoting morality and freedom, right? Freedom is responsibility. The more moral a society becomes, the more free a society becomes, and that is a fact. But then you are going and having your girlfriend going to Walmart, and I don't give a shit where you're stealing from. It doesn't matter because stealing is still stealing. And you know his argument was, it's okay to steal from Walmart because they steal from us. And you know, like I mean, I guess you know, like I don't think that makes sense. Stealing is stealing. An immoral action is always going to be an immoral action. And it's these are, like I said, these are the people who are put on a pedestal, right? They're put on a pedestal on the One Great Work Network, right? These are the leaders, our quote unquote leaders. And this is why we don't have a real freedom community, because the people who are in the freedom community are still not practicing what they're preaching. Right? This guy doesn't even have the balls to go and steal from Walmart himself. He had his girlfriend go and steal from Walmart. Like, he didn't go in the store and risk life and limb. He didn't risk going to jail had he gotten caught for stealing T-bone steaks from Walmart. He had his girlfriend go into Walmart and steal, which is an immoral action. They could say this is gray area. Walmart has made millions and millions and millions of dollars, but hey, they have a business. Whether they have government subsidies, government is immoral. I'm an anarchist, right? Government is totally immoral, right? You could say Walmart is totally immoral, but still, it's still stealing, and I was in the same position. When I lived in West Virginia 7 months ago, the whole reason I moved to West Virginia is so I could be closer to Skatopia and closer to these quote-unquote anarchists who I, used to look up to. But then these quote-unquote anarchists are having their girlfriend go into Walmart and steal food, steal a T-bone steak. So it's not even stealing. You're stealing immoral food, right? Because it was a steak. He had his girlfriend steal dead flesh from Walmart to save money, right? Even though his grandmommy pays for his cell phone bill. It's like, bro, your grandmommy pays for your cell phone bill. You could afford to walk into Walmart and buy a fucking steak. And for you to turn around and call yourself a true anarchist and call yourself, I should totally drop his fucking name, because he's a fake-ass anarchist and a fake-ass friend at the end of the day. So, and these are, like I said, these are the leaders that we're supposed to look up to. These people who are encouraging their girlfriend to steal dead flesh, which dead flesh is an immoral action, When you're killing an animal for your own sustenance, that is an immoral action. And he's not the only dead flesh eater on the One Great Work Network. There have been people who have interviewed other people who drank blood on the One Great Work Network. But anyways, we are here to talk about Martin Luther King. This guy's a true leader. This guy is more of an anarchist than the person I'm speaking about on the One Great Work Network. And so I just had to get that vitriol out. Like I said, it's just so frustrating. These are the people that the next generation looks up to. These total hypocrites. Absolute fucking fake-ass anarchist fucking hypocrites. Preaching about freedom. Total fucking hypocrites. This is what I was thinking about at work, these fucking immoral fake-ass people. I'm sick of fake-ass people. I'm sorry, I'm very angry, and I kind of got fired up on the last stream too. I'm sick of fake-ass fucking people. I'm tired of it. They're fucking everywhere. That's the real fucking scamdemic. That's the real plandemic. It's the plandemic of fake-ass fucking people who aren't practicing what they fucking preach. And this guy's supposed to have a book coming out, right? This guy's supposed to be writing a book all about freedom. Fucking deplorable. And when I do his book review, I'll call him out too, and I'll call out that situation. I'll call him out. You've had your girlfriend steal dead flesh from Walmart, and then you probably cooked it up on the stove. So when I was living in West Virginia, the chick that I moved into, she is influenced by this guy, right? She is definitely influenced by this dude. She thinks he's hot. She thinks like he's so fucking sexy. Like, she admitted it on a daily basis. And I dated her. So you have this person, she thinks that she's an anarchist because she follows this guy on the One Great Work Network. She thinks he's hot. She looks up to him, right? And so I moved to West Virginia, and she was stealing from Walmart to save money. And I said, no, stop. We both have jobs. There is no reason for you to steal. There is no reason for you to risk going to fucking jail when you're stealing to feed your family. There's no reason for that. I'll just work. If you want a T-bone steak from Walmart, babe, I will just work an extra hour. I will try to get overtime, and I will pick up more shifts. So, stealing is immoral. It's an immoral action. Stealing from anybody, whether it's fucking Walmart, Walgreens, or stealing from your own fucking mom, is never going to lead to true freedom. Stealing from a corporation is never, it doesn't matter, you're stealing. One immoral action is not going to cancel out another immoral action. Immoral actions, isn't it? It's immoral. It's not going to lead to true freedom. And whether you're stealing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you're stealing from. You're still stealing. It is an immoral action. It is theft. Theft is immoral. It doesn't lead to freedom. It's not rocket science. So that's when I moved to West Virginia, I was like, stop stealing. And she, hopefully, I don't know if, trusting from her word, right? Going off of her word. Hopefully she did stop stealing. Sometimes she would still steal alcohol for her mom. But that's why I moved away. I'm like, you guys are calling yourself anarchists and you're fucking stealing. That's not what anarchy is. That's not what fucking freedom is. You're stealing from people. You are an immoral, evil person. I don't give a fuck who you're stealing from, where you're stealing from. It doesn't matter. You are stealing. You are an immoral fucking person. And you need to be held accountable, on top of the things that happened in that house that I lived in. Stealing from fucking corporations. You're stealing. It's still stealing. It's really not rocket science. I'm sorry to sound like a freaking broken record or whatever. Let's get some fresh air. Let's get some fresh air. I'm freaking fired up. But like I said, we're going to read this news article. This news article is beautiful. This author, the journalist who wrote this article, beautiful person, beautiful soul. I was supposed to be working, and I was like, the whole time, I'm like, man, I really want to finish this news article. So I got on my break, and the newspapers cost like $3, and I'm cheap, and excuse me, I'm not only cheap, but I'm poor. I'm poor and cheap. I got the Midwest. It's a Midwest curse to not only be poor and Midwest cheap. It's it's pretty rough, but it happens. So we're gonna get some fresh air out here. But so I wanted to continue to talk on Martin Luther King. Welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. Welcome back to the modern day Chautauqua. Nobody's going to tune in because I talk about the truth, and if people cared about the truth, we all wouldn't be fucking slaves right now. We would end human suffering, and not only human suffering, but the suffering for the animal kingdom too. And I'm a hypocrite too. I'm the same way. I still eat dead flesh. I fucking hate it. That's something I need to work on. Yes, I'm an immoral person. I will be the first person to tell you. If I had my girlfriend steal from Walmart, I'd be like, that's totally immoral, and I would be the first person to tell you. I'm a human being. I'm working on it. Right? We're all doing our best, but some of us are doing our best to stay enslaved. But anyways, I should probably get to the news article, but I'm having too much fun ranting. Of course, it's not an immoral action, but it's not healthy. It's definitely not fucking healthy. I'll be the first person to tell you that. Yeah, I need to slow down on drinking shit. Save some more money. Is this thing freaking open? There we go. Irish crickets. Well, that wasn't an Irish cricket because I'm drinking bottles. I got bottles. She goes dancing and also pops bottles every day. She goes dancing and also pops bottles every day. Let me tell you of a famous tale of a persona. Everybody knows her by the nickname of Lechona. Everybody knows her by the nickname of Lechona. Okay, so I got to get to bed. I need to stop being a goofball. But I also do want to sail the Sea of Thieves. We got a lot of great stuff with Sea of Thieves coming out. There's Community Weekend coming up, but this is about MLK, and I need to shut the hell up and get to the subject. Get to the material. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very, very controversial, and hopefully this increasingly restrictive platform doesn't kick me off for the words that I'm about to express, because I'm about to express some very, very, very controversial words. Okay? This is going to be crazily crazy and controversial, and I need to get through the article before Little Caesar shows up and the dogs start going crazy. So this is from the South Bend Tribune, my local newspaper. MLK Day speaker calls for love and courage, tells an uncomfortable truth. And again, another shout out to Mark Passio, because this guy is a fucking legend. You guys want to talk about uncomfortable fucking truths? Head on over to Mark Passio's website. What on earth is happening? Don't head on over to the One Great Work Network. And if you do head on over to the One Great Work Network, be wary, because you might see an interview of some dude drinking fucking cow's blood, and that's totally immoral. I don't give a fuck what the argument is. Drinking cow's blood is fucked up. You're a satanic weirdo. So maybe go on to What on Earth is Happening. Start that whole podcast. The What on Earth is Happening podcast is the best fucking podcast on the internet. I don't give a shit. It's the best. It's a fact. But anyways, so this article that I just mentioned is written by Jessica Velez, V-E-L-E-Z, of the South Bend Tribune. This news article was updated January 20th, 2026 at 10:14 in the morning. So you can find this news article. I'll leave, maybe if I get time or remember, I'll leave a link to the description, or a link in the description. If you guys leave a comment, I'll see the comment if you really want to read the article. But I'm going to read the whole thing to you guys. There's also a video too, and I'm going to watch the video after the stream. And I also one thing that I want to mention is I really wanted to play a Martin Luther King speech for the internet, for this modern day Chautauqua, and just kind of play the speech and talk about the talking points. But maybe I'll continue. This is going to be an ongoing Chautauqua, because MLK is a fucking legend, and like I said, Black History Month's coming up, so we're just going to start it off with MLK because he's a fucking legend. Kudos to that guy. He had brass balls. He had the biggest balls of them all. But anyways, South Bend keynote speaker Timothy Lake spoke candidly as he urged influential individuals in society to be courageous. Okay, we're going to see if YouTube kicks me off. Individuals in society to be courageous and stand up against this is in quotes, this is not my words, okay? I'm reading a news article, YouTube. Please do not shut the video off. Okay. I'll finish the sentence. We need individuals in society to be courageous and stand up against the niggerization or dehumanization of all people, regardless of race. And this is where it gets so powerful. I love this author. This journalist who wrote this is fantastic. Regardless of race, during his address at the 40th annual oh my God, stupid ads. During his address at the 40th annual Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast celebration on January 19th. I wish I could have went to this. I totally would have, but I was probably at work. The Wabash College professor also called for society to be more loving. This is the important part. Let me say that again. The Wabash College professor also called for society to be more loving, and he told an uncomfortable truth that made some people in the audience uneasy. Organized by Martin Luther King Jr. Foundation of St. Joseph County, Project Impact, South Bend Heritage, and the Civil Rights Heritage Center at Indiana University of South Bend. I'm going to turn my brightness up because I'm stumbling on the words too much. I got my boomer eyeballs over here. And the Civil Rights organized by Martin Luther King Jr. Foundation of St. Joseph County, Project Impact, South Bend Heritage, and the Civil Rights Heritage Center at Indiana University of South Bend. The event included a prayer by University of Notre Dame President Father Roberts Alfred Dowd, D-O-W-D. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Music sung by local vocalists and awards given to community members. And it shows a picture here. Reverend Timothy Lake gives a keynote address during the 40th annual MLK Junior Community Service. This guy's a handsome man. I wish my teeth were that white, but I work in a country that does not give health care. I literally don't remember the last time I went to the dentist. I think I wasn't even 21 the last time I went to the dentist. Man, this guy is handsome. Jesus. What a handsome man. So an appeal for courage, continuing on with the news article. An appeal for courage. Lake opened his speech with a discussion of King's belief in the power of love. That's the power of love. Not romantic or physical attraction, but rather as loving acts of service. And so again, I'm going to call out some more, obviously steering away from the article. I'm going to call out some more shitty ass people who claim they love their community, but then when an anarchist asks to interview their band, he just ignores me. Blatantly ignores me. I know I've talked about this before, but this guy I interviewed, Patrick Danger Quigley. I interviewed him on the channel under the Legends of South Bend series, and we talked about agape, right? It's a higher form of love. It's like a form of familial love. Agape. It's like like brotherly, human, just a love for humanity, and we talked about that. But this guy totally blatantly ignored me, so I need to change. I need to change that interview from Legends of South Bend to Citizens of South Bend because, again, not very legendary to ignore somebody who wants to interview you and your band when you, to promote his band and get his name out there. This band is very underrated, but I mean, if that's how you're going to treat people especially people in your own community, then maybe your band deserves to stay underrated. Hot take, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I care too much, actually. Sorry, Pat. Sorry I'm not cool enough to be in your club, Patrick. I guess that's why they stopped booking me over at the Well in South Bend, Indiana. They stopped booking me, Dead and Unsara. I used to play a bunch of songs over at the Well, so screw that venue, I guess. And maybe someday I'll be able to play that venue again. I really miss the Well. Haven't been there in years because of, again, fake-ass Christians. To go back to this idea of fake-ass Christians, I'm going back off of the Mark Passio presentation. Mark Passio has a flawless presentation called Fake-Ass Christians, and I highly recommend everybody look it up because the amount of fake-ass Christians that are inhabiting this planet is fucking deplorable and makes me physically fucking ill. It makes me feel like I just chugged 4 half-gallons of Captain Morgan, and it's like the next day, how I would feel. That's how I feel seeing all these fake-ass Christians walk the planet, Not that you guys don't deserve to walk the planet, we're all human beings, right? Love you guys, agape, right? But you need to pull your fucking head out of the ass, or pull your head out of the sand, sorry. Oh man, little pirate vitriol. That's why I love doing these Chautauquas and Sea of Thieves, right? It kind of makes sense, especially because I'm drinking a delicious woodchuck hard cider amber ale. God, this sweet red apple ale, so delicious. So freaking good. But anyways, Lake opened his speech with a discussion of King's belief in the power of love, not romantic or physical attraction, but as loving acts of service. Let me get that door for you. Oh, I'll take that out to your car. You need help carrying that? Oh, look, somebody left a cart in the middle of the parking lot. Let me go put it back. These are acts of love, loving acts of service. I don't want anybody to hit their car on that shopping cart. So I'm going to put that shopping cart back in the trolley, in the dolly, where it belongs, right? Because some asshole, some selfish fucking unethical moron was in too much of a rush to put the grocery cart back, right? It's not an immoral action, but it is unethical, right? We need to distinguish the difference between immoral action and unethical action, because that's where it gets in the gray area, right? There's a difference between immoral and unethical. Okay, so here's back to the article. This is from somebody who was at the event. King was calling on us. Oh, the reverend, the handsome man I just gave a shout out to. King was calling on us to express the concept of love as a social and political value that insists that we always ask, what can I do to make things better for others, Lake said. And I know, I don't like politics. I do not like politicians, But I do like, that quote makes me think of, ask not what you could do for your country. Ask, no, or ask not what your country could do for you. Ask what you could do for your country. That famous JFK quote. I love that quote because it brings it to an individual level, right? It's not like it's the corporation. It brings it to the individual level. And I was just listening to on Freedom Under Natural Law. You can find the YouTube page, Freedom Under Natural Law. There's an interview that Leslie Powers did with, I think Leslie Powers was the interviewer. No, it was Chris Jansen. Chris Jansen and Brandon Spencer. Brandon Spencer was talking about how his work always brings it back to the individual, and I love that. I love Brandon Spencer's work because, that's true. It's like, what can I do as an individual? What can you do as an individual to help make the world better? I mean, do you even care, right? Like, unfortunately, most people don't care. Me and my coworker kept saying that all day yesterday. People are just clueless. They just don't care. They don't care. It's not even that they're clueless. They just don't. They don't have that care. They lack it. They lack it. So again, just want to say again this quote. King was calling on us to express the concept of love as a social and political value that insists that we always ask, what can I do to make things better for others? Lake said. Just like that amazing Bob Marley quote that I shared on the last Chautauqua. Lake later shared the story of 15-year-old Claudette Colvin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Colvin on March 2nd on 1955. And before I even say the rest of the story, I just want to add ACAB. And if you know, you know. On March 2nd, 1955, Montgomery, Alabama police arrested Colvin after she refused to give up her seat to a newly boarded white woman. She was charged with assault. Can you oh my God. Can you imagine? No, I'm not going to give up this seat. I'm already in the seat. Charged with assault. Boom! By not giving up a seat, you're charged with assault. This was in 1955. How many years ago was that? And now we have a racist psychopath in the office right now. And if you think this country has progressed any more in 2025, you're insane. You're insane if you think this country has progressed in any direction that is good. You're absolutely you're out of your goddamn mind. Sorry, that was blasphemous. Oh my God. Freaking cat. Oh, my bad, audience. A dumbass cat just knocked over my guitar. It's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for knocking over my guitar, you stupid. All right, just had to make sure my guitar was safe. All right, back to the article. Lost my spot. What can I do to make better? What can I do to make things better for others? Lake said. 15-year-old Claudette Colvin on March. Oh yeah, we already read that. Alabama police arrested Colvin after she refused to give up her seat to a newly boarded white woman. She was charged with assault, battery, and violating the city and state segregation laws. Yeah, that's literally insane. That's the definition of insanity right there. She went to jail for assault and battery for refusing to give up a seat to the person of a different color. Yeah, and I still see, as somebody who works at I've worked at a grocery store, worked at fast food, I still see these kinds of, I mean, it doesn't happen to that extreme level to where the police doesn't get called, but I still see a lot of side-eyed from, old boomers, right? There's somebody of a different color, a different skin color in front of this, like old white boomer, and the old white boomer is like sighing every 30 seconds and rolling their eyes and, doing all this and acting very impatient when the person is just, being a human being and like putting their money back in their account, getting their stuff together and like getting their bags together, and people still act very impatient, right? There's such a strong lack of humanity in the everyday world. It's so sad. It's so sad. But anyways, Colvin, Lake said, did what adults refuse to do and still refuse to do now. Be courageous. Sorry. Colvin, Lake said, did what adults refused to do then and still refuse to do now. Be courageous. Yeah, it's so true. How many people are willing to stand up against authority like that? How many people are willing to say no? How many people are willing to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do? Like it's few and far between. People like that are absolute unicorns. And like I said, you have people on the One Great Work Network who are preaching morality and preaching doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and then they don't even live by it, right? Like, it's just unbelievable. So the article continues to go on. Real good stuff. Oh, now my phone's acting up. Okay, so back to what the reverend at this event was saying. Courage is a value that has been undervalued these days because people in high places threaten people in lower places, and they too often cower down, Lake said. Instead of cowering down, he said, those who have the financially stability, that looks like a typo, they have the financially stability, that's what it says, and influence should do all they can to ensure that the people who do not have the means are not niggerized. Historically, the term was imposed on black people. However, it has expanded to all people, Lake said, regardless of race, ethnicity, or religion. And this is exactly what I was saying. The other night on the last Modern Day Chautauqua, is that this is exactly what I was saying, and this is right, like so synchronistic with what I was saying yesterday, is that slavery was never abolished, it was just made bigger to include everybody. It was made bigger to include all races and creeds and colors, through taxation and through bureaucrats, these immoral laws. Again, we can go back to Prohibition, where Prohibition, you take alcohol, right? You take this substance that is one day it's moral to consume this substance, and then the next day it's immoral to consume this substance because of some junkies keep trying to argue with me, again, while I'm talking about truth and I'm talking about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But some junkie that I live with keeps opening the door and peeking her head in the fucking door, opening her fucking cocksucker. So, sorry about the distraction. Sorry about the, the pauses and that stuff. But what was I saying? People cower down regardless of... lost my spot. Okay, historically the term was imposed on black people. However, it is expanded to... Oh yes, Lake said, regardless of race or ethnicity or religion. Yes, slavery was never abolished. It was made bigger to include everybody. Right. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, that is so sad. It just hurts my soul. Hurts my soul. And again, like people, people just want to argue. They love drama. They love arguing. Like toxic. Imagine being in a toxic relationship and you're so tired of arguing that you're tired of arguing with your own boyfriend that now you're going to argue with, instead of arguing with your boyfriend, you're going to go argue with your boyfriend's little brother when your cat almost broke his little brother's new guitar, which is, that's crazy. But you're going to come in here and keep fucking arguing. But yeah, whatever. Sure. It means to be subject to random violence. This is the N-word, the hard R N-word. Oh, wait, no, hold on. My phone skipped ahead. Regardless of race, ethnicity, or religion. Niggerization is an attempt to hinder democratization, to turn potential citizens into intimidated, fearful, and helpless subjects. The scholar Cornel West wrote in a 2007 essay that was published in The Atlantic. It means to be subject to random violence, to be hated for who you are for no reason, to be put down and shown that you have no capabilities to do anything, and to say that you have no voice, Lake said. Yes, exactly. When a police officer pulls you over and puts a gun into your face and says, pay this ticket or you're going to jail, it's literally, they're robbing your voice. They're stealing your voice away from you and putting a gun in your face. It's like literally it's like you don't have a voice. So you go to work, right? You go to work. It's supposed to be very, very sterile environment. You're not allowed to cuss. You're not allowed to express your opinion, right? And you go there for 8 hours, 10 hours. Sometimes you go there for 12 hours. You pull a double, right? And you got to be sterile. Can't express your opinion. Don't cuss. Don't say things that make you happy. Don't be a happy... Oh, but at the same time, you're supposed to be a happy individual, and you're supposed to be super nice to everybody, all the while with all these rules, breaking your back. It's so ridiculous. And, yeah. Like I said, we talk about that on Crazy Life Stories podcast on a daily basis with Matt Bennett. I miss Matt Bennett right now. Really miss Matt Bennett. But, anyways, I got to wrap this up so I can get going to bed and try to calm the hell down because there's ignorant people trying to get in my face about their lack of responsibility. I mean, shit. I mean, yeah, it's like if you leave your house door open, you leave the house, and then somebody comes in and steals everything in your house. It's like, whose fault is that? You kind of left you didn't put the lock on, you didn't turn the cameras on, you didn't I don't know. Probably gonna go play guitar. Now that I'm nice and fucking fired up after work. Because ignorance. God, I hate ignorant people. I'm really sick of ignorant, fake-ass fucking people. Like, I can't fucking stand it. I can't fucking stand it. The toxicity of our city. Anyways, but reading that, it means to be subject to random violence. It makes me think of back when I was 19 and I was walking. Where was I walking? I think I was walking to my friend's house, or I was I was walking to my friend's house, and I was like, I was like I said, I was 19. I was old enough to be out past curfew because I was old enough to be an adult, but I didn't have. I don't think I had my ID at the time, and the police pulled me over, and there was one police car. Okay, sorry about the slamming doors now too. Like I said, it sucks to live with psychopaths. The police pulled me over and stopped me, and I had like some board shorts on. I probably had an afro. I had my skateboard, so I probably look like a stoner, and I wasn't like carrying anything on me because I didn't even have a job. The only thing I could afford was a skateboard, right? And the police were surrounded me. There was 4 guys with guns. 4 guys with guns for one 19-year-old and spread out against 2 different vehicles. The one vehicle, the road, I was on a pretty busy street, so when they stopped me, I was almost getting to the crosswalk, and this police like pulled right in front of the sidewalk, so like the sidewalk was obstructed. I was about to cross the street, and then the second police car, it was at a beauty school, so there was a parking lot behind me that you could enter. So the second police car pulled up behind me, and then they got behind me. So there was I was surrounded by 2 vehicles, 4 officers all got out, surrounded me, and patted me down, and they were surprised that I didn't have any herbs or anything on me. They were surprised that I didn't have drugs. I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything. I'm 19 years old. I'm going to go to my friend's house to go skate. Right? That's literally what I was doing, to go skate and play guitar. Right? He was like, bro, come over. I got this new guitar. I've just put new strings on it. He had the neon green strings. You can get at Guitar Center. Those strings are cool, but they don't last that long. But anyways, I was on my way to go skate, and all I had was a skateboard. I didn't have this was before cell phones were popular, so I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have an ID or a wallet. I was 19 years bro, you live in America, you don't have an ID? Yeah, I live in America, exactly. I don't live in Nazi-occupied Germany in World War II. It's okay for 19-year-olds to walk around without having IDs. This is how these egotistical psychopaths act and react, right? What are they consuming? What are these police officers consuming, right? They're eating donuts, drinking coffee. So they're all drugged up. They're sugared up, right? They're drinking caffeine, drinking drugs, eating sugar, eating donuts, eating McDonald's, just sitting in their vehicle, not getting any energy out. So when they go up to a 19-year-old, it's like they're ready to... No wonder why they're shooting people so much. They're probably drinking 4 Monsters before they even clock in to get their paycheck. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So back to the article. Renee Good, who was killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota on January 7th. This is a few weeks ago. God, it gives me chills. Jesus. My God, people still just want to argue. You got ICE agents shooting innocent people, shooting moms out here, and people still I want to argue. I want to argue. But what you said, I'm not responsible for my animals. If my animal breaks their guitar, I don't have to pay for it, because that's not what responsibility is. My parents didn't teach me what the fuck responsibility is. Go! It's fucking rocket science. Responsibility is fucking rocket science. Oh, you gotta go to school to learn what the fuck responsibility is. Fucking so stupid. Come on. Pull your fucking head out of your asshole. Renee Good, who was killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota on January 7th, was niggerized, he said. Lake said, this guy, not me, I didn't say that. In conclusion, Lake made an appeal for courage. Yes, we need to be courageous. And asked the audience to examine themselves and see where the reservoir of courage might be for them. If we want to come from the mountaintop to the movement, then it's going to have to start with us. It's going to have to start, this is outside of the article. It's going to have to start with the individual. That's not what he said. I'll reread it, but I'm adding on to that. It's going to have to start with us and with us individually. If we want to come from the mountain to the top of the movement, come from the mountaintop to the movement, then it's going to have to start with us, Lake said. Will you have the courage to say to yourself that it may not come in your own lifetime, and it may not benefit you, but you're going to act courageously for the future? Will you have the courage to say to yourself that it may not come in your own lifetime? And no, it may not benefit you, for sure. It might not benefit you. But you're going to act courageously for the future. It's a question mark. I don't know how to read. That's a weird way to read that. And again, back to the Freedom Under Natural Law Conference. To go back to that is another interview by James Cordner. Leslie Powers and James Cordner, for sure. That was a really good interview. I watched that before work today, where James Cordner was talking about... I lost my train of thought. James Cordner was talking about a quote where it says, "He who plants a tree may not get to sit in its shade," right? That's not verbatim, obviously. That's off the top of my head. But I love that quote. It's like, he who plants the tree won't live long enough to see the shade that the tree gives. And that is a profound, right? Like the guy who's planting the tree really cares. That guy cares. Right, like I'm gonna plant all these trees, not for lumber, but just to have because the earth needs oxygen. Trees give us oxygen. We need that, right? We're human beings. We need oxygen to breathe. We all gotta breathe. But courage. It's so important. Lake jokingly said that Gladys Muhammad, president of the Martin Luther King Jr. Foundation of St. Joseph County, likely won't invite him back. That's funny. Because of his, he was saying that because of the controversy. That's pretty controversial to say. But I love that he had the courage, man, and it's all about courage. Like, it's so awesome. This guy's epic. Love this guy. He said that Gladys won't invite him back. But Muhammad later told the Tribune she thought Lake told an uncomfortable truth. And again, to go back to Mark Passio, everything Mark Passio does, all of the work that he's been doing, especially with the two masks, same face presentation that he just put out, is definitely uncomfortable truths. I mean, the only thing that Mark Passio talks about is uncomfortable truths. Basically, no, he gets into a lot of good subjects and topics, but his work is very uncomfortable. It's very it's combative, and he'll be the first one to tell you the truth is very combative. It's not easy. The truth is not. It's a sword. It's not a gentle. The truth is not a gentle, plushy, super soft, silky Care Bear. It's a spike. It's a sharp point. In the great words of King, Muhammad said, "A threat to justice everywhere is a..." In the words of King, Muhammad said, "A threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, no matter what group of people it occurs to." It's uncomfortable for the broader community, Muhammad said, because no one wants to think of themselves in that position. But we lived it, and we see it. The overall feedback after the speech was positive, Lake said, and despite taking a risk, he felt it was necessary to share the lessons of perseverance that can be learned from the Black experience. The Black experience's value is the knowledge that has been gained through the experience of an oppressed people that refuse to give up their humanity. Yeah, oh my God, it's so powerful. That's so freaking powerful. I'm going to read that and start that again. The black experience is valuable is the knowledge that has been gained through the experience of an oppressed people that refused to give up their humanity and refused to slide into nihilism, darkness, and hatred. Imagine being a slave. Imagine your entire family, or maybe you're the next generation. Maybe you weren't on the plantation, right? But your aunt was. Your great aunt was. Your grandmother was. Imagine how hard it has to be to not take that and turn it into anger. Or like this article says, or turn it into darkness and hatred. Because if I was in that position, oh, I literally can't imagine. If I was in that position, if my mom was on the plantation, I would be raising hell. The hell I would be raising would be unfathomable. If my mom told me stories about being a slave on a slave plantation, I would be livid. Who wouldn't be livid? Who wouldn't be livid at hearing some of these stories? And to not turn that into hate that's powerful. That takes so much patience, and that takes so much true agape right there. That what we were talking about earlier. That's true love. To not take that action and turn it into hate. That's profoundly. Like, you are a loving human being if you take that experience and not turn it into hate. That is like holy. To refuse to slide into nihilism, darkness, and hatred. Lake said to the Tribune, to come out of that experience still loving, caring, and extending grace. That's what it means to be heroic in the world. Fuck yeah. Fuck yes. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what the fuck it means to be heroic in this world. Dude, this guy, this is the first time when I was reading this article at work, this Reverend Timothy Lake, I love this guy. That's the truth. That is the truth. Nope, now my freaking phone's messing up again, son of a... Lost my spot regardless of race. Gotta love the background music. That's why we do these Chautauquas, these modern day Chautauquas in the tavern. You know, I had some of the deepest conversations in my life at in taverns. You know, Smith's Downtown. Shout out to Smith's Downtown. Still trying to find my spot here. To experience, yes, to come out of that experience still loving, caring, and extending grace. That's what it means to be heroic in the world. And this is exactly, this is exactly the type of things that Mark Passio talks about. Chris Jansen, Leslie Powers, get the sacred feminine in there. Cynthia, she's a newer voice in the freedom community. Catherine Waters, Brandon Spencer was live streaming on Twitch last night, and Catherine Waters was on there. I love Catherine Waters. She is phenomenal. And yes, that's what it takes to be courageous. We have to have agape. We have to not be afraid to say no. I'm not going to give up this bus seat. I would. I mean, not if I was in that position. Like if I was in that position. But like I consider myself a gentleman. So if there's an elderly, if there's an old timer coming on the bus, I'm like, hey, do you want this seat? But the bus that I take, usually it's not packed. Usually there's almost always an open seat, especially at the front for the handicapped people. And yeah, that was just loved that article. I thought about it my whole shift, and then I got to do the same shift tomorrow. So I got to get to bed here, start winding down. Probably watch Anchorman. I do want to sail the seas, but I don't think I'll have time. What time is it? Yeah, it's already 11:30. I probably won't have time. Probably just got to watch a movie, chill out. But with that, the hard R N word, I do want to, since I love punk rock over here at Beagle Eye Visions. You know, if you follow the channel, you know my love of punk rock. So I'm gonna read a song. Read a song by one of the most amazing punk rock bands on the entire planet, known as Crass, and I'm gonna read these lyrics. All right, hey, camera. Hog right here, chug a freaking skelly grog. Let's go outside for some fresh air for these lyrics too. I wonder if it'll let me. I probably won't let me sit down because I'm gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna let me sit down. I gotta go back to the tavern. Too turnt. Okay. Hello, testing. Make sure my mouse moving. They said that we were trash. Well, the name is Crap. Oh, sorry. Let me rewind. This song, for anybody who wants to know, this song is called White Punks on Hope by Crass. And I don't know if, I can't remember if it goes right along the line, but these guys were singing this song, and there's a Crass documentary. These guys were singing this song, talking about the hard R N-word, and when they were surrounded by racist skinheads over in England. I shouldn't say skinheads because skinheads, in my opinion, are like good people who aren't racist, like sharps. I'm referring to the term as sharps. Skinhead against racial prejudice. Like I used to be a sharp. I was in a sharp band. But anyways, you know, so these guys were singing this song, so you know, and like racist. And these guys were not racist. They had agape. They had true love. They were true punk rockers. They were true anarchists. They invited everybody to come to their shows. It didn't matter if you were all ages, all colors, all races. Everybody was welcome at their shows. But sometimes the skinheads would catch word of one of their shows, and the skinheads they tell a story. There's a Crass documentary free on YouTube. There's No Authority But Yourself. Look up that documentary. It's really good rabbit hole to dive into. But yeah, he tells a story about how sometimes they would play these shows and these racist boneheads would show up and start beating the crap out of everybody. And guess what? They were still singing these songs like they didn't stop them. Didn't matter what the venue was, didn't matter what the location was. These fucking badasses were still getting up on stage and singing about the truth. Just like Vinnie Eastwood and Leslie Powers and you know, like all these guys in the freedom community. Conrad Ragose, man, shout out to Conrad Ragose, dude. Love Conrad Ragose. But anyways, so this song is, I'll close out, once I get done with this song, I'll close out and we'll get out of here and I'll go wind down because I gotta go to freaking work and go be a slave because slave was, you know, made so everybody is included instead of a certain race of people, so we're all slaves now, and nobody seems to care, and it's not frustrating at all whatsoever that nobody seems to fucking give a shit. It's not frustrating whatsoever. I'm not angry. You're angry. All right, White Punks on Hope. Song by Crass. They said that we were trash. Well, the name is Crass, not Clash. They can stuff their punk credentials because it's them that take the cash. They won't change nothing with their fashionable talk. All their RAR badges and their protest walk. Thousands of white men standing in a park objecting to racism's like a candle in the dark. Black man's got his problems and his way to deal with it. So don't fool yourself. You're helping with your white liberal shit. If you care to take a closer look at the way things really stand, you'll see we're all just niggers to the rulers of this land. Punk was once an answer to the years of crap, a way of saying no when we've always said yup. But the moment we saw a way to be free, they invented a dividing line, street credibility. The qualifying factors are politics and class. Left-wing macho street fighters willing to kick arse. Willing to kick ass, probably. I guess arse is like English. the English version. Oh, get the candle out of the face. Kick arse. They said because of racism they'd come out on the street. It was just a form of fascism for the socialist elite. Bigotry and blindness, a Marxist con. Another clever trick to keep us all in line. Neat little labels to keep us all apart, to keep us all divided when the troubles start. Pogo on a Nazi, spit upon a Jew. Vicious, mindless violence that offers nothing new. Left-wing violence, right-wing violence, it all seems like the same. Bully boys out fighting, it's just the same old game. Boring fucking politics that'll get us all shot. Left-wing, right-wing, you can stuff the lot. Keep your pretty prejudice. I don't see the point. Anarchy and freedom is what I want. This has been part 2 of a modern-day Chautauqua. Thank you so fucking much if you have made it this far. You are truly a legend if you followed the channel up to this point, and if you're still supporting and you're watching, catching the live streams later, I freaking appreciate you. You're an absolute legend. Keep promoting freedom. Keep doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And above all, stay tuned and stay gold. I'm signing off.